I guess we could just dive in and, people can trickle in. We are going to record this, so if you need to drop early, we'll make sure to send this out to everyone. But yeah, I'll just start. I'm Alexa. I'm the head of sales and partnerships at Psychedelics Today and excited to be here. I'm also an artist and a passionate content creator in a bit of a like lull right now with like inspiration for content. So this is like very close to, me. So yeah, excited to hear what Daniel's wisdom, what he's going to share with us.
Uh,
Swati, why don't you give a little intro?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Swati Sharma, and I'm kind of a newer addition to the PT team. I'm really excited to be here. I'm helping with the Vital program, and I'm so excited to be a part of this webinar. Um, I have a history of working in the psychedelic space and psychedelic media, previously working with Psychedelic Spotlight. I've worked with Chacruna Institute, and I'm just really looking forward to sharing some of these gifts with you today.
Amazing.
Thank you. And before Daniel let you give your intro and like go on in, if you have any questions that come up, we do have a Q&A box at the bottom. It's preferred over the chat. It's a little more easy to manage, but either way, just feel free to shoot your questions in and we'll have time for that at the end. But without further ado, Daniel, take it away.
Hey, amazing. Well, hi, hello, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful space. A shout out to the Psychedelics Today team and to Alexa and Swati for getting all of this together and for also creating the space for me to like literally talk about the juice of Color Me Crazy and what I'm doing in this world and what my mission is and how I can hopefully, help you tap into your inner creator, your creative potential, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's as a facilitator or an artist or just maybe a caregiver or a person in the world. My philosophy with Color Me Crazy is that creativity is everything. It is everything. And even if you're in this space right now and you're going, I have no idea how I'm a creator, I have no idea how I can do this. Oh my God, imposter syndrome. Gonna put my head down and stay quiet and just see what this random person has to say about my life. I just trust me that you are in good hands and I'm here to nurture and to give you some perspective as far as what is creativity and especially creativity in this digital age. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur, a spiritpreneur, whatever in the digital space with this sometimes scary beasts we know as social media, which I like to call social media. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here and show you just what we got going on. Welcome. Meet your presenter. Hi, hello. My name is Daniel Colón, also known as Color Me Crazy, Color We Crazy on social media because it is about us. I am a passionate creator, point blank, period. I painted the wall behind me. I make stained glass. I write my own music. I lip sync to Abraham Hicks from time to time. I am a facilitator in some of these healing spaces. And I also dabble in the psychedelic realm as well. Which is kind of what brings so many of us here together. Psychedelics are a huge part of, and have been a huge part in me developing my voice and understanding what it is all of us are. And I've been able to build a community on social media on both TikTok and on Instagram of over 300,000 followers over the span of 2 years, just by literally me being myself. Um, I'm really passionate about empowering other creators to do the same. And just to like give y'all a little bit more of a rundown, here are some core Color Me Crazy philosophies. First and foremost, creativity is everything. Creativity is everything. It is the juice that runs in our veins. It is in the meals that we eat, the breaths that we take, the conversations that we have with one another. Everything is creative. That's one of the big ones for me. Another big philosophy for me is fail big. We take ourselves so seriously and we put all these like qualifiers on like, when is it time to like really start my business? Am I going to be good enough? Am I good enough to like put my voice out there? just put it out there and fail, 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 fail. Nobody else is taking you seriously other than you. Another one is choosing fun. A lot of times when we think of the social media world and wanting to really step into the space as a content creator, we're like, oh, I have to like put up a front. I have to be a certain way and act a certain way. It's like, first and foremost, are you having fun? Are you enjoying what you're creating and putting out there in the world? Let's really, really whittle it all down to that. Another one is here is it pays to be you. And that was literally my manifesto 2 years ago. I told myself, I'm going to get paid to be myself. And I'm not talking just finances. I just want to like, I want it to pay off to be myself, to show up in this world, to just like be who I am as an individual. And over the span of 2 years, baby, I have to tell you, like it worked. It worked. I'm not only getting paid to be myself financially, I'm also sustaining myself in that way by just like putting my creations out in the world, helping others embody their sense of creativity. And all under this one huge philosophy for me is that you are not a niche, you are not a monolith, you are not one thing, you are all things. A lot of times people think of social media, and the first thing that you hear of someone who has achieved some sort of whatever success on social media is that you have to be one thing, you have to stick to it. To which I say, no, boo, why do that? I change who I am like every single day, every single minute, I'm changing who I am. You are not monolithic. You didn't come into this world to be one thing. So why put that out into the world? Why pigeonhole yourself into being this one thing? And I think now more so than ever, we can all benefit from seeing others who are creating in this sort of non-monolithic way, who are sharing how multi-passionate they are, how diverse they are in their interests and their beliefs and their ideas and their opinions, which all whittles down to this very last philosophy from me to we, this idea of really embracing the self and our multidimensionality and all the beautifulness that makes us us, and how that translates into this collective vision of all of us coming together. Because there's this beautiful thing that happens when we share who we are authentically, multi-passionately, is that it inspires other people to be the same. And when we are all inspired and we're all being the same and we're all embracing all of our zhuzhness, everything that makes us us, we're less likely to judge another person for doing the same as well. So the freedom that that gives us, that beautiful freeing feeling that we're so many of us are in pursuit of, that is literally what I came into this world to do, to help inspire other people to do the same through my demonstration of embracing these philosophies. I hope you can see yourself in a different way by the end of this workshop. So speaking of this workshop, what am I going to even learn? What am I learning here? What are we doing here? What's happening? So hopefully by the end of this workshop, you'll be equipped with some strategies for some authentic content creation. You'll be able to balance visibility with true self-expression. You'll be able to feel confident enough to build a meaningful community around your passions, emphasis on passions, multiple. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll be able to navigate the digital landscape that is social media, or sometimes what I like to call as like the algorithmic gods, with some integrity without feeling like you're selling your soul in any sort of way. There's a way to do it so that it's honest and authentic. So honestly, the best thing that y'all can do in this workshop is to share yourself, share yourself, and feel free to use that chat on the bottom of the on the screen. Like, this is a conversation. Yes, sure, I'm the one who's sharing the slides, but I want to make sure that y'all have input and y'all have say in this as well. So if anything is coming up that you're like, actually, could you touch on this a little bit more? Feel free to use that chat. There'll also be a Q&A at the end where we'll be able to dive in a little bit deeper. I want y'all to know that this is a safe space for you to just inquire and explore. No question is a dumb question. All questions are welcomed and merited. And I hope you feel safe in this space as well to explore. So let's begin our journey after that very long-winded introduction. Thank you for bearing with me here. So the journey to authentic self-expression. Again, we're talking about this idea that everyone is a creator and that everyone has a unique story and a unique offering. you are so valuable, point blank, period. You are so valuable beyond belief. There's a lot for you to offer to this world. There's a lot for you to contribute to this world. And I have a funny feeling that a majority of the people in this space right now, or who will be watching this afterwards, all feel as though there's this purpose to bring about understanding, to bring about love, compassion, and healing in some way, shape, or form. And we all have our own personal little aches, our personal traumas, or whatever you want to call it, that brought us eventually to understanding what this purpose is in our life. And that story is so beautiful to share with the world. So it's talking about stories and the magic of storytelling. Let me tell you a little bit about my story and how I even became whatever it was that I am today. So once upon a time, color me crazy, Daniel Colón, also known as Dan is Rad, Authentically Daniel, Consciously Daniel. I love the rebranding over and over and over again. Once upon a time, this little boy, he was born into this world knowing that I wanted to do something impactful. I wanted to leave something behind that I'm proud of. But of course, I went through high school, graduated high school, tried college. College did not work out for me. And then I was pumped into the workforce. And let me tell you, my resume is extensive, from American Eagles to working at Disney World to putting on furry suits for a living, and, entertaining, people who came in. Like I was really close friends with Chip and Dale and, Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all those wonderful people. I started working there when I was 16 and I growth spurted through all these characters. So I came into this world already knowing that I wanted to bring light, wanting to bring light in this world. But I was confused as to how I would do it. I tried on all these masks. I tried on all these ways of helping others. I've been in the customer service industry for God knows how long. And I don't blame those. I'm so grateful for those experiences because it helped me work with people in a very real way. But somewhere along the lines, a decade ago, I hit a very deep low. I was very much in an existential crisis, and I was like, "What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with this? Like, how does this feel good to you? Are you happy? Do you enjoy yourself?" And alongside with many others in the space, I tried therapy, I tried medication, I tried all the things until one of my friends was like, "Let's do shrooms." And I was like, "What? What is this? What do you mean we're gonna do shrooms? Aren't we gonna become like schizophrenic from this?" Like that's what the Dare program told me when I was younger. And my friend was like, "No, no, 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 no. Here's some stuff for you to read. Here's some research. There's this dude named Terrence McKenna. You should really listen to some of his stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, whatever." So I dived into really researching psychedelics, and it became less terrifying for me, and we set aside some time, and he was like, "Cool, so I got this canvas, I got a whole bunch of paint set up, set and setting on point. There's a playlist I curated. Here's our dose. Are you ready to do it?" And I was so nervous. I was like, "I don't know if I'm really ready to do this." He's like, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna be okay. But like, you gotta take the jump and surrender. We're gonna do this or we're not." I was like, "I trust, I surrender, sure." And boom, down the hatch it went. And woo, wow, 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 wow. It was the most transformative experiences of my entire life. It was the very first time that I was able to see the many masks that I was wearing, the many roles that I took on, the many roles that were given to me, that were conditioned to me. I was able to make amends with, trauma with my mother. And I threw myself into painting for the very first time in God knows how long. And I painted for hours, focusing on every little detail, every little thing. And boom, out of 4 hours, I birthed this crazy thing that I was just like, "I can't believe I even made that." And the whole entire time while I made that, I was like not even worried about any mistakes that I was making. I was very much living in my Bob Ross, like, "Oh my God, happy accidents every single wear. Like, this is amazing. I got out of my way completely." And I would like to say that at the end of this tale, I went on and I lived my life so authentically and so amazingly and happily ever after. But I didn't. It planted the seed in so many ways. And over the span of many, many, many years, I integrated some of those lessons from that initial trip that I took a decade ago. And over the last 2 years, I finally embraced the one true philosophy that came through during that first trip experience, which was get out of your way. Get out of your way and just be you. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter in the most like freeing way. It really doesn't matter. So I started sharing videos about this experience, and 'twas the birth of Color Me Crazy. And I made one video and it blew up. And mind you, I was never making videos to just be seen or anything. I was literally making videos and putting them out into the universe because I was just like, somebody's got to see that this is funny. Somebody's got to see how ridiculous this journey is and how seriously we take ourselves. Like, let's laugh at all this stuff. And boom, it blew up. And I realized, wow, the more authentic I am, the more honest I am, and the more I share that with the world, the more I attract people who are looking for exactly that, exactly that. So 'twas the birth of Color Me Crazy. Of course, there was pressure to like do it how everybody else was doing, but for so long I tried social media and I tried to do it how other people were doing it, and it never felt right for me. I was like, I was never like the living my best life, like live, laugh, love. I was never that type of person. I can see the superficiality, and I made it a point when I finally chose to be a content creator to do it in a way where I can look back at it as some sort of video journal, video diary, and celebrate the growth, celebrate the process of my becoming, celebrate me. And lo and behold, I attracted a tribe and a community, all based off of my authenticity. All this to say is that you being authentic in this world pays off in so many ways. But there's a funny thing that happens when we put a camera on our face and now we're forced to like look at ourselves, to face ourselves, comparing ourselves to other voices in this space, worrying of whether or not our voice has any value than this other person or that other person, and all the comparison that comes with that, which is what literally these social media platforms are priming us for. But that is not you, and it doesn't have to be you. And there's a way to do it so that it does feel good to share all of you, every single part of you. So there's authenticity, right, on social media, and there's the viral trends, which we all see. These like 16-year-old dancers, like literal children who are just like bopping and doing some sort of dance and getting millions of likes. That is, I don't think that's who's in this space right now or who is listening to this right now. And I feel like that's where a lot of the anxiety comes when you open up these apps and you're literally flooded with all these images of virality. You're not really seeing anyone who looks like you, who talks like you, who feels like you. And that's because there isn't anybody who looks like you, who talks like you, who feels like you. And that's why even more so, it's so important for you to share that, to shine a light, to then attract the people who can find you, who also vibe with you. So authenticity pays off in its own way. Virality and following trends pays off in its own way. I feel as though the more I explored authenticity and just doing things that sparked me and fueled me, even if it wasn't getting a lot of likes, I found that it attracted the tribe, it attracted the community, it attracted the people whom, I wanted in my life, who I wanted around me. So with that, all that knowledge, all that wisdom, hopefully, I want to ask the community here, have you ever felt the pressure to conform on social media? Have you ever felt the pressure to conform on social media? And what does authenticity mean to you in your creative work? When you have a second, we got hell yes, 1,000%. Absolutely. Yep, felt the pressure. Yes, yes. And listen to all of these already like negative emotions attached to it. Literally negative, like, yes, and those aches and those You're never gonna want to create a video and put it out into the world and share your creations if you're already living in that space. So how can we approach it in a different way so there isn't that ache? We'll talk about that in just a little bit more here. Also, the second question of like, what does authenticity mean to you in your creative work? What does that look like for you? When you think of yourself as an authentic person who is taking up space on these platforms, what does that look like for you? Who do you see? what are some words you can use to describe this person? And I want you to like really just chew on that for a little bit. Yeah, being unique and helpful, absolutely. Unique. That's what you to quote Beyonce. Not conforming or comparing yourself to others, absolutely, absolutely. I want to be okay with my old content that I don't resonate with anymore too, and just love who I was as well as who I am now. It's so beautiful. That's the beauty of learning to love the process of your becoming. Unedited from the depths of my being. Yes, absolutely. Letting people see both the light and the shadow sides of myself, super important. Absolutely. Being honest with myself about myself, my vulnerability with those outside of myself, sharing what comes up naturally and not trying so hard. Perfect, 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 perfect. So with all of these comments that are coming through, I think there's one key through line with all of this. It's that, baby, you are the trend. Create the trend. Be the trend. And be the trend setter. That is who you are. Like, if you're not seeing it on these platforms, if those images are not being you reflected, be that reflection out in the universe. How is anybody else going to find you if you're not shining your light? You know? And also, there's this pressure with like, I have to only share my best self and show up as my best self. Your best self is your most authentic self. And sometimes it's your darkest self. And even in that, and sharing those icky moments that we have in the world, and sharing the process of how you're navigating it, the capacity that that has to inspire other people is way more valuable than someone who is hopping on camera, hopping on social media, and telling you what is wrong with your life, telling you what's wrong with you. And that's what we see in this space. A lot of these self-proclaimed gurus and whatnot. By the way, I'm not a guru. I'm not a spiritual leader. I'm none of that. I'm literally one of y'all. And that's why I can speak to all of this. But like, that's why we're seeing a lot of these people who are like, this is the problem with your life. This is how you can get your life fixed in 3 simple steps. And it's like, baby, it takes a lot more than 3 simple steps for you to get yourself through a dark night of the soul, for you to get yourself through the thick of it. It took me thousands of steps and going back a few more and forward a few more in order for me to even gain any of this perspective, which means instead of seeing all of this that y'all shared in this chat, thank you for being vulnerable, by the way, with your icks and the conformity and all of that. Instead of using that as like the thing that stops you from showing up authentically in this world, use it as a motivator, as an opportunity to show up as you, as all of you, because there's really no risk, y'all. There is really, really no risk. All right. There is a need for change on these platforms. There is a need to shift the way in which we share ourselves. Because I feel as though there are many people in this space who will relate to this as far as like the superficial trending life and the stuff that we're seeing is getting tired. It's getting tired, and we're starting to call the, pardon me, my French, the bullshit. We can see through it. We can see through the faces, the masks that are put on, and that's why it doesn't feel right for us to try and even fit ourselves into those spaces because we're not wanting any of that. And if we have explored the realm of psychedelics and explore how trippy and how wonderful and how full of ourselves we feel when we are in these psychedelic experiences and we're trying to bring that level of authenticity into these spaces, then there's some work that needs to happen integration wise on a cellular level that will, you know, make that vision come to reality. Of course, there are many qualms with social media. You'll find yourself, I'm guilty of it. Like when I first really started making content, there were moments and periods where I was like, how many likes am I getting? How many comments am I getting? Are people really seeing me? Are people really like liking this? Am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing it? Like, how can I get people to really see this? Which, like, if you're feeling that way, then guess what? These platforms are winning. There's a shift here that really helped me in recognizing that even if you're impacting one person, even if one person comments on something that you share in the world, then they're just like, wow, thank you so much. That is enough to create a positive ripple of change. That is enough to inspire. Your value in your voice, in your mesh, in your message isn't measured by how many followers you have, how many comments you have, how many likes you have. that does not mean you don't bring value to this world. It really, really doesn't. So I think really scaling it back and asking yourself, how many people am I actually affecting here? And is that enough? I would encourage you to really adopt the mentality that it is. It really, really, really is enough. So there's challenges, of course, to growing in this way on social media as a content creator, an entrepreneur. It's not going to happen as fast. You're going to see moments where it peaks and moments where it's just down, and moments where it peaks and moments where it's down. So the growth process of this is a little bit slower, but the results are so much deeper because the people who are going to ride or die with you on these platforms, they're going to really be there with you. And the growth that this will have personally, as far as having integrity with yourself and the voice that you share, that's going to have profound impact as well. So I think longevity wise, it's more sustainable to just show up as you are versus showing up as who you think you have to show up in these spaces. Okay. Um, all right. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we dive into navigating the digital landscape? How are y'all feeling in the chat right now? We're with me. We're good. We're on board.
I have one comment, Daniel,
Yeah.
just about like looking at social media like context. Like even if it's like you've got 10 likes or like whatever the amount is, like it's so easy to see people that have like hundreds of thousands of followers and it's like, oh, I have like 50 people who, liked this. And it's like that's a lot of people. Like if you look at a room filled with 50
Mhm.
people, like
Oh
that
yeah.
will fill your house, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
it's not that many, but even 10 or it's just interesting. Things get really inflated. And so it's like a good reminder of like, no, like to your point, the people you're reaching, even if it's just people in your own network and they're not commenting and liking, like we don't know who's actually seeing and being, touched by what we're sharing. And the more you share, the more you realize that you will hear from people. And I think
Yep.
you'll, kind of get into that. But that's all.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd like to tell you all that, like, oh, well, once you hit 100,000 followers, you'll never think of this ever again. To which I say that's nonsense. Like, even with the following that I have right now, there have been moments where I have been like, oh gosh, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if I'm really doing, I don't know if my value is enough. And meanwhile, I'm getting like 1,000 likes on a post, And like, there's another person in this space who's like, I would die for 1,000 likes. That sounds amazing to have that many. Or like I may post another video where it's like very raw, very uncut, not super polished in that sort of way. I might get 100 likes. I might get 50 likes. And then I'm like doubting myself. And then I'll step out into the world and somebody be like, oh my God, it's Abraham Hicks guy. It's what oh my, you have no idea how much your videos mean to me, how much they help me. Oh my God, thank you so much for doing what you do in this world. I'm just like, wow, just in that moment when I was doubting that my creation wasn't enough. Like there it is, the universe literally showing you like keep going, like don't like be the trendsetter and watch what happens. What does the term content creator mean for you? I mean, I feel like we can get rid of content in that quotation and just it's just creator. Like we are creators as far as creating content is creating what is shareable to you. And if you are creating for you, you will find quite naturally that you'll be pulled to share that with the rest of the world, and that becomes content. And that content could be productive. That content could not be so productive. That content could be mind numbing, or that content could really uplift. So as far as content creator goes, that's kind of what I see. I hope that answers your question. But good question. Navigating the digital landscape, how do you stay true in the world of virality and all that fun stuff, especially when you're feeling that risk, that pressure to produce all the time, and also the risk of burnout and disconnection? Because let me tell you, you are also not the content, you are also not just content, you are also not just creator, you are most importantly just being. And your social media, these platforms are an extension of your being. And you sharing the extension of your being, that is the creation, that is the creativity right then and there. There will be moments where you don't want to post a thing, where you don't want to be so public, where you want to be way more private, to which I say, give yourself the permission to be private. Give yourself permission for your creativity to just be for you, for your shadow part to just be for you. And that is okay. That is totally okay. I'm very big on resharing things too. There's this idea like, oh, I created it, I share it one time, that's it. Done. Never sharing it again. If you put in all that time, all that effort to create something that you felt so connected with, so connected to, and you share it only one time, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Go back and share it again. And most of the time when I'm feeling creative burnout, um, that creative burnout, I will reshare something that reminds me of when I was living in the vibration of inspiration and creation. I'm just like, wow, this is so exciting to make. And lo and behold, like 9 times out of 10, it inspires me to create again because I'm reminded of like, oh, wow, I was really in a pocket here. I really felt inspired here. I really felt like myself. I felt authentic here. And then, of course, if you're still not inspired, it's okay. You're not going to be creating all the time. You're not going to be pushing all the time. But it doesn't mean that, the resting phase isn't regenerative in any sort of way. That's where we restore. That's where we replant. That's where we regain the inspiration and pour into ourselves. So what's for you, what's for the public, discerning that, very important. Give yourself permission to take a break when you need to. And like there's no pressure. You can stop, you can fall off the face of the earth for a couple weeks, heck, a couple months, and like you'll be okay. So I think a lot of this is also asking questions about who are you creating for? And a lot of times when we're having these moments of, dissociation and we're not really feeling connected to our voice and our creativity, it really all whittles down to this question and understanding this. Most of the time when I ask myself this question, I it really brings me back to reality. A few days ago, I was trying to make a video, actually for this webinar. I was trying to make a video for this webinar. And what would typically take me, let's say, 5 minutes to make, if I'm just like sitting editing, just to be like, okay, cool, let me promote this. I really believe in myself. Why not promote this? It took me over an hour to finally make this video because there were so many retakes, because there were so many moments of me putting on, this shtick of like, I'm gonna promote this thing and I want everybody to come through. And then moments of me being like, who am I actually? Could I actually talk about these things? Am I actually okay for this? Like, who am I? Like, who am I to talk about these things? And I felt like such an imposter. I went through so many phases of creating this. And then I took a minute, I talked to my partner, and they were like, well, maybe just take a break or whatnot, like take a step back, go out for a walk. And I went out for a walk. I went out for a few blocks, came back, and I was gonna make a video again. And I was like, no, I'm not ready to make it. It's not time. It doesn't feel right. I don't feel like me. And I sat down and I posed a question. I was like, well, who am I creating for? Who am I creating this video for? Who am I talking to? And it was at that moment that I realized, like, I'm talking to me. I'm creating for me. I'm talking to myself. So I turned that camera around. I looked at the camera and I reminded myself, like, just talk to you. Who would you talk to? How would you talk to yourself right now? How would you talk about your philosophy? And talk to you. And boom, the minute and a half, whatever, it happened. I promoted it and, I shared it with the rest of the world. But like, it wasn't until I finally asked myself, who was I creating for? Because before that moment, I was creating for y'all. I was creating for the people who I thought I was going to attract. I was creating for those who I really, really, really wanted to like plant the seed in. I was creating for an audience that didn't really exist for me yet because I haven't experienced it yet. So reframing that really, really shifted things for me. So as you are exploring, creativity and your voice, I would really encourage you to really ask yourself that. Who am I creating for? What is your why? What are your core values? What are your passions? What is your mission? Create for yourself and then share that with the world. Create for you. Don't put this pressure on yourself to create for this audience who may or may not see your creation. create because you're proud of it. Create because you believe in yourself. Share that with the world. Share that with the world. Be honest, be consistent, and have fun. Give yourself permission to be messy. Be messy. Messy is cute. I love messy. I love raw. I love uncut. I love just like it not looking the best. I love those moments where it's like you still record it, or you make a video about it and there was maybe a bit too many ums for you, but you still post it anyway because like there's still the feeling and the philosophy behind that is just way more important. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Absolutely. Nothing is perfect in this world, so don't put the pressure on yourself to be perfect. There are some videos of me way back in the archives that if I were to watch, now I'd be like, ooh, cringe, 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 cringe. Like, oh, who is this person? What voice is that? Like, literally every single video that I put out there in the world over time, through consistently, I was able to shape and make a voice that I felt comfortable in, that felt authentic to me. It's all rehearsal. Everything is all rehearsal and it's all play. Through time, through effort, it's going to become something. It's going to become something that feels comfortable for you. So give yourself permission to stumble over your words, to heck, if you don't really know what you're talking about, talk about that in your video. Like, hey, y'all, I'm really navigating some imposter syndrome here. I don't really know what I'm talking about here. I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm really struggling to navigate that right now. But I know that I do. And maybe that video you end up sharing with the world, or maybe that video just ends up being for you to document and talk about whatever it is you're going through. There's so many videos in my archive that never made it out into the world because it was about me. It was about me navigating something and finding my voice. And yeah, very wonderful things. So we're going to transition to a small little portion here, where we're going to do a little bit of mirror work. Circling back to that point that I made in the beginning, like, who do you see when you look in the mirror? Who do you see when you look in the mirror? And there's a funny little thing that happens when we put these cameras on our face, right? Especially if you're using a front facing camera. It's just like, ooh, okay, cool. Maybe my hair is looking a mess here. Oh my gosh, I don't like the way my face looked like when I did that, or da 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 da. So we're literally walking with mirrors in our pocket all the all the time. And there is immense beauty in that, and also if you're consciously doing it. So creativity and expression are your mirror to your inner self. That's what the mirror is to your inner self. And when we use these mirrors in an intentional way, and we actually look at ourselves, and we, apply some affirmation work, there's some beautiful things that can happen here. So I want to guide y'all in a 5-minute little exercise here. Okay. We're gonna pull out our phones, and we're gonna look at ourselves. Okay. It sounds so simple in theory. Sounds so simple in theory, but it is one of the most difficult things for us to face sometimes, is to face ourselves. But if we can actually look at ourselves in an authentic and honest way, and a loving and compassionate way, there's some profound changes that can happen. And this really did help me for so long, especially as I was trying to find my voice in the space. So if you have your phone ready and you're ready to join me on an exercise here, type into the chat that you are ready and good to go, just so I get an A-OK from y'all. Okay? Yeah, ready, ready. I'm scared. Good, but it's also like you're gonna be good, I promise. Yes, mirror, mirror on the wall. All right, friends. Filter, no filter. Hopefully, no filter. No filter needed. All right, friends. So I want you to open up your camera, um, and just to look at yourself. Look at yourself in the eyes. I just want you to take yourself in. No, no, no super high. We don't want the camera to be super high, Swanee, just like front and center, right? I want you to see all of you front and center. And I just want you to look into your eyes. Take yourself in. Take your mind in as well. What is your mind saying right now? What do they see? What do your eyes see? Are you cracking a smile? Is your mind telling you, hey, this was so dumb. I have no idea why I'm doing this right now, but oh my gosh, anything that comes up is okay. And I want you to take note of the parts of your face, of your being that may be a little bit difficult for you to take in right now. What are the parts of you that you're probably not even a fan of? Maybe there's a part of you that wishes your nose looked differently or that your eyes had less smile lines. People like to call them crow's feet. I say no, they're smile lines. Maybe your eyebrows don't look the way you want them to. Maybe you have something stuck in your teeth that you're realizing, like, oh, maybe shouldn't have that bagel earlier. I just want you to take yourself in. Take mental note of these insecurities that may come up. And now I want you to start listing things that you do like about yourself. Now, at first, this may be a little difficult depending on where you're at, depending on the type of work you've done. Maybe it's a little easier. But there are things that you do love to see and witness in yourself. Look deep into your eyes. Now, I encourage you to invite a gentle smile to your face. It's okay if it doesn't feel authentic at first. Okay, it's okay if it feels a little forced. It's a gentle smile. And I want you to tell yourself these three simple words: I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am a creator. I am authentic. And I offered four words there: creator, authentic, beautiful, worthy. And I want you to just explore those words for like another minute, say them to yourself. And if you don't believe those words right now, I encourage you to just take one of them and repeat it over and over and over again and look at yourself, face yourself, as difficult as it is. If tears arise, allow them to arise and let them fall. If any emotion is present, if there's anything that brews up, allow those emotions to pass through, breathing in through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. I am worthy. I am authentic. I am a creator. I am beautiful. Just really, really make it a point to feel those words. Whenever you're ready, you can release the phone. I invite you to just close your eyes for just 1 minute and place a couple hands on your heart. Take a nice deep breath into your heart space and sigh it out. Just sigh it out. Another breath in through your nose. Ah, just coming back into the space whenever you're ready, taking your time. Welcome, friends. I love this. I'm my chubby chin, LOL. I'm beautiful though. Yes, you are. You are so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. So I see some comments already are coming in. Wrinkles, where did they come from? Where the time has passed? Oh my God, these grays. This is me. This is you. This is you. This is a reflection of just where you're at. All right. And you can choose to reflect in a way that feels actually beautiful, that feeds you, or you can critique yourself, pick yourself apart, all those things. Use this practice often, especially if it brought up some like emotions. And I would encourage you before you even create something in the world and share it with the world, just take a second to look at yourself and to face yourself and ask yourself those questions. Who am I creating for? Who am I creating for? Create for the reflection you see in the mirror, right? Create for the reflection you see in the mirror. That's what I would encourage you to do. Make the camera your ideal audience. Your audience needs you. They really, really, really do. They really do. So, on that note, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and start closing this up a little bit here. I wanted to end with that exercise. Just to sum up, create for you, create because it's literally what we came into this world to do, create to inspire, create to make change, create because why not? It's the best way to spend our time. Create authentically and wholly and truly because there's no risk. The only person who is taking yourself so seriously is you. It's truly you. All right, my friends. So thank you so much. We're going to open the floor, I think, for a few questions, comments, or anything like that that come through. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram or on TikTok at Color We Crazy, not Color Me Crazy. So Color We Crazy on the socials, and I'll leave the floor open for questions or anything. Alexa, Swati, you have anything?
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. And thank you so much for that. That was so amazing, Danielle. Like, just feeling so wonderful after that exercise as well. It's just
Mm.
really feeling into ourselves and where we're currently at. So Torea Rodriguez asked a question here. They said, how do you protect yourself from outside influence? I find that when I start posting on the socials, that at first it's my authenticity, but then the next I am sucked into trying to do things that others are doing and mimicking. Then I
Yeah.
lose it.
Oh,
How
yeah.
do you protect yourself from that tendency?
Yeah, absolutely. My partner calls TikTok something really funny. He calls it mock mock. And it basically kind of summarizes this to a certain extent. And the way in which I navigate it is I post and go. Post and go. Post and go. You don't have to spend your time on these platforms. I'm someone who spends so much time on my phone and so much time on these devices already for what I'm creating in this world that when I post, I just let it be. I let it be. And if I open my app, it's to comment back on, anybody who's commented on my content or anything, creating conversation in that way, all of that. I am literally just creating in that realm. Another little tactic that I would offer is to create your circle of influence. Create that circle of influence. Who is influencing you? Who are those influences that are not stimulating you? Unfollow, unfollow. Get like don't you don't have to focus your attention on there. Really go through your feed and curate it so that every time you open that app, it's a source of inspiration. It's igniting you. It's giving you a little bit of something. There's been many times where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to create in this world. And boom, I open my phone, I see a feed, and I hear some words, I see something that somebody shared, and it inspires me to create my own thing. So yeah, restructure your feed so that it serves you and not something that you're like just seeing the trends, just seeing the things that you don't want to imitate. Um, yeah, yeah, that's how I would navigate that. How do you deal with creative blocks? You As far as dealing with creative blocks, one of the best things is to allow the block to happen. A creative block is just an indicator that, hey, we're not in alignment. We're not in integrity with whatever it is that we're doing. Also, creative blocks are an indicator that I put a lot of creative energy into this and I need some time to refuel, to replenish. One of my favorite ways to deal with creative blocks is to go out in the world, connect with nature, go to a museum, watch a movie, watch a play, go to a concert, connect with other people. Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, one of my favorite books, by the way. If you are looking to explore your creativity in a more disciplined way, one of my favorite things that she offers, Julia Cameron, is the in The Artist's Way is called the artist date. So making sure that every single week we set aside one day to just take ourselves out on an artist date, something to fill the creative well, as she likes to call it. So, making sure that we are also going out of our way to create spaces to replenish and refill our well. I love listening to other creatives talk about creativity when I'm creatively blocked as well. Other inspirational leaders, and I find that eventually I get through it, understanding that the creative block is not going to last forever. And it doesn't mean that you're not creative enough. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get back to it. It doesn't mean you should give up. It can be many, many things. And just don't give yourself, don't put unnecessary amounts of pressure to like have to create, have to create. So yeah, that's what I would offer to y'all. Great reminder to recurate my feed for where I am now in life. Yeah, absolutely.
We have a couple more in the QA.
Great.
So what are some tools to help navigate negative comments? Do you
Mm,
engage to have honest conversation or just try to ignore? I feel like I get so deeply affected, especially when sharing myself authentically and when being vulnerable. I love that question.
yep. Hate is gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate. Trolls are gonna troll. That is just what is gonna happen in this world. I I love a block button. I love a block button. I will do my best, in those situations to show up lovingly and compassionately. And it doesn't mean become a doormat or anything like that. Advocate for yourself. But if it's feels unhealthy to your mental health, like block. One of the things that I do too is I filter words on my comment. So if there are certain words that I don't want to see or hear or anything, like myself being a queer person, like there's a lot of derogatory words as a queer person. So right off the jump, I have filtered those offensive terms that are used against queer people. So I don't even see those comments coming in through. And that is totally, totally, totally okay. Um, and I want to say, like, for me, for the most part, like in you sharing your truth and your authenticity, you're creating the community of support. Focus on those people who are supporting you already. Just because one person commented negatively about something that you shared in the world shouldn't discredit the many other people who saw value in what you shared in the world. Okay. Like it's that notion that like the praise of others will uplift you, but the negative comment of one person will break you. And to a certain extent, that can be true, but it doesn't have to. Like, quite practically, quite logically, look at all the people that you may be affecting, that you're actually helping. All right. This was exactly what I needed tonight. Yay. So great.
We've got one more. Maybe I know we're at time, so if you have to run, we get
I'm
it. We're
good.
gonna
Yeah.
post this on our YouTube. But the last one, you create in so many different ways. Do you have a favorite creative outlet that may ignite creativity in other aspects of your life?
Do I have a favorite creative outlet? It's so like interesting for me because like I consider myself to be a multi-passionate person. So like other people would say you just have ADHD. I'm like, sure, if you want to give me some sort of diagnosis like that, then sure. But like I don't have a disorder. I'm literally just living in the embodiment of creativity. And sometimes creativity in one certain aspect will live in me for a season, maybe for a couple hours, maybe for a few months. So it really, really all depends. I find that for me, music is something that really kind of like inspires uh music feels like for me in so many ways, it's a very private moment. So I do love to sing. That's one of my favorite ways to create. But like, honestly, it's so hard to answer that question because my favorite way, my favorite way to create is still lives in all the many other aspects of creativity that I haven't even explored yet, that I still am interested in. Like I create stained glass too, like just because I was like, I want to melt metals. That sounds fun. And I just like got the stuff to make stained glass. And like that would inspire me to make a video for my channel, being like, yo, look, I gave myself permission to create this thing that I never imagined that I would be doing in my life, but like I'm having so much fun. And there you go, the content just creates itself. So yeah, I would say the one true thing though that does get me through any sort of creative block, the one true creative force that inspires me consistently is nature. Not to get all woo-woo on y'all, but it truly is nature. Give me mountains, give me trees, give me the sheer epicness that this world is. And I'm just like, wow, I gotta do something with this. I gotta like share the connection with the world. So yeah, nature, nature, nature. It's honest, it's true, it's consistent. She shows up always.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Daniel. And for everyone who's still here, we're going to have more content coming with Daniel, which is really exciting. We're just really happy to have you as part of our next cohort of Vital, and
Oh my God,
to
Vital.
hear all about, yeah, your journey as you like deepen into your psychedelic space and your own healing journey. And we're really excited to see the content that comes
Oh,
comes there.
so excited to be a part of the Vital team. Like I have been Vital has been bookmarked as like something that I want to be a part of for like so long. The curriculum like looks like a space that like I'm so excited for the people that I get to meet. I'm so excited for all the twists and turns that may come from it. So like as far as Vital goes, like to my understanding, like I'm still gotta experience it, but I'm still excited for like everything that's gonna come from it. But it's like a program that helps you integrate psychedelic medicines in an integrative way and explore them so you can bring it to your practice, whatever that practice is, and like yeah, actually speak from it in like a space that feels confident and actually good for whatever your vision is. So as far as for me goes, like some of the big vision that I have is to, use psychedelic medicine as a way to create, to inspire creativity in others. We see the medicine already used in so many ways, which is so productive to help with mental illness and depression and anxiety and PTSD, and that's so brilliant. But I really want to explore how to use the medicine as a means of inspiring fun and play and creativity and the freedom that can give someone. So my idea is like eventually have a healing space that feels like summer camp for adults where we're out there, we're exploring the medicine and creating and just having fun. But yeah, I it's 12 months, which I'm so excited to like really dive in deep and to have structure around this, especially with psychedelic medicine being so leading edge right now. It feels like, a crazy frontier to be tapping into. So why not with psychedelics today? Why not with this amazing community and the amazing facilitators that I'm so excited to pick their brains, and where we got study groups as well. Like I'm just yeah, I'm really really jazzed. Yeah, those yeah, as well as the medical, the somatic, the indigenous, like so many things. It's like I'm only speaking from what I anticipate to gain from this experience, but I already know and I feel that that's only like scratching at the surface of what's actually going to come. And I'm going to document the whole journey. I'm going to be making like, little video journals on how it's going to inform me. I'm sure a lot of my content's going to be influenced by the Vital program. So like, let's do it. Let's bridge the gap. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Swati, do you have anything else to add?
Um, no, I think that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, it's our 12-month training program, like we had mentioned. We're super excited to have Danielle, and we have such a variety of of applicants that are joining us. And so it's not just for people who are, going the medical route and needing a therapist license. It's actually open to everyone. And that's why, we have such a diverse, interesting curriculum to offer. So like Alexa had mentioned, we have applications open until Sunday. And yeah, if you are interested in learning more about opportunities to join Vital, we have opened up a few more scholarship opportunities, which we're super excited about. I believe that we did send out an email to our general mailing list today, and we are going to add everybody from this presentation to our email list. So we'll update you all there, and we hope to see you in Vital.
Yeah, I love it. I love the accessibility too. Like that's just so important. And I love that y'all are creating different ways to access this program. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and for any of you who either know people in San Francisco, I know some of you are in San Francisco, we are having an in-person event, which is pretty rare. Our team is global. So on January 25th, we're gonna be having an event in San Francisco. So keep an eye out on our channels for that. And yeah, well, actually, Daniel, why don't you share what your little freebie that we're gonna share with everybody?
Oh, yeah. Talking about resources and accessibility. I love accessibility. And I think that's like one of the main pillars of Color Me Crazy is like information, accessibility for all. So I will be sharing with y'all this free ebook that I'm offering. It'll have journal prompts, it'll have exercises, it'll break down all of this information in ways that you'll actually be able to digest a little bit more and apply them in practical ways. So it's all about unleashing your creativity and adopting creativity as a way of living, which I think we all can really tap into, in just like, yeah, it's a really fun book. It's really loving and it looks pretty cute because I like cute things. So I hope you like it and you enjoy it. And if you want to, explore and work one-on-one with me or anything like that, you can hit me up at hello@colormecrazy.world. Hello@colormecrazy.world is my email. Just hit me up and we can start a conversation and see what happens from there. I also host live shows every Monday on Instagram at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if there's Q&As that happen there and many ways to be a part of the Color Me Crazy familia, love to have you be a part of it, if you're interested. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Much love, everyone.
Yeah.
Happiest of New Year's. Let's do this.
Everyone have a great night and can't wait to tag us in all your content. We can't wait to see
Yes.
it.
Oh, yeah.
All
So
right.
much of it. Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
one. Bye.